Afe Babalola breaks silence on Dele Farotimi's detention. He said that the book contained several defamatory statements that questioned his integrity and accused his law firm of unethical practices, including corrupting the judiciary.
I became aware that some men purporting to be policemen from the Ekiti State Police Command were in Lagos on a mission to abduct me. This court had then proceeded to issue a bench warrant for my arrest. This is classic Afe Babalola. I detailed his corruptive influence in my book, Nigeria and its Criminal Justice System. And what he has done is exactly what he has always done in hiding, but he has done it this time again.
The news says Afe Babalola breaks silence on Dele Farotimi's detention. He said that the book contained several defamatory statements that questioned his integrity and accused his law firm of unethical practices, including corrupting the judiciary. To be very honest, Afe Babalola is 92 years old, according to my research. He's 92 years old. And if at 92 years old, you're still picking somebody up because of defamation, then there's a problem. That says a lot about your youth. Do you understand? And I'm beginning to want to believe whatever thing that is in the book, even though I did not read the book. Do you understand? At 92 years old, give or take, if this man still got time to live for this earth, let's just say in the next 40 years, 50 years, because let's start with the average lifespan of a Nigerian. Average lifespan. The average life expectancy in Nigeria is about 61 to 79 years old. And the man only 92, so you don't beat that one. Let's check the average lifespan of a man in the world. The average life expectancy at birth globally is around 71 to 82, 83 years old. And you don't beat all that too. So me, I feel so the man's supposed to be a father. If what he delivered to me talk no be true, you don't need to answer him. I understand integrity and all. You would have schooled him. SAN. You go school him. File a civil suit. Do the case 100%. Make sure at the end of the day, you school Dele Farotimi to the point that he apologizes to you in front of the whole Nigerians and make him look like a fool. Take him to court. Then let him prove what he's saying. Because the way out of defamation is through justification. It's through truth. So if by the end of the day, you people are in court and he cannot say the truth or he cannot prove what he's saying in his book, then he'll be forced to apologize. But the guy told I don't go pick up. Mind you, Nigerians do not even know about the book. Nigerians don't know about the book. Now everybody don't go buy the book. And this action is making everybody feel like, oh yes, the guy talk now true. Do you understand? But if at 92, Papa, they run this kind of parole, that means when they're in youthful age, when they're at least 40, 50, 55, that means something, a lot of people go down keep quiet too. Yes, so I mean talk about based on my analysis. Do you understand? Based on my own analysis. Take this guy, file a civil suit. And Nigerians should be bothered. Yes, Nigerians should be bothered. Why do I say this? If they carry lawyer, go through for prison. Me and you go suffer. In the nearest future, say you talk one thing. You don't understand. It's a big deal. If they go pick lawyer, go lock, they go detain lawyer. They carry lawyer, papa. I understand. They say they invite them, police invite them how many times, say you no come. You understand? Yes. Normally, police invites you, you're supposed to honor the invitation. Else they will bust your house and they will pick you up. You understand? So the police are right on that note. Yes, 100, they are right. But my point is this. Somebody on the level and caliber of Afe Babalola, who is a very big SAN in Nigeria, should not be doing things like this that make it look as if he's oppressing. Yes, file a civil suit and school him in court. Use your law firm to school him in court. If possible, say use your connection. School him for court. Let him pay for damages. Let them ban all those books. Let them withdraw all those books from sales. But now it has gotten to this point. And guess what? At the end of the day, you will release him. And now they don't dent your name. Because a lot of this young generation didn't know who Afe Babalola was. But he concerned them, he said Afe Babalola get invested. That was all. Yes, that was all. But now, whatever thing Dele Farotimi put for that book, and now the sales of the book have increased. It don't increase.
The issue between Afe Babalola and Dele Farotimi has made Dele Farotimi a global star. Let me explain. Few days after Dele Farotimi was arrested by Afe Babalola for defaming Afe Babalola in his book called Nigeria and its Criminal Justice System, Afe Babalola claimed that book defamed his character or his personality. So he used the Nigerian police to arrest Dele Farotimi. And within the space of 24 hours, they charged Dele Farotimi to court and denied him bail and sent him to prison, which the case will be coming up again on 10th of December. Now, here's the thing. That case has made Dele Farotimi a superstar. Those that don't know Dele Farotimi before now has not known Dele Farotimi. That book that Afe Babalola do not want people to see or he wants to be withdrawn from the market is now one of the best-selling books on Amazon and even in Nigeria market, as many Nigerians has gone further to order that book, and that book is now ranking as one of the best-selling books on Amazon. Now, here's the thing that Nigerians need to learn from this. There's some things you should just ignore because giving them attention will just make them more popular. Afe Babalola do not want people to see that book because he defamed his character. So he went further to arrest the author of the book, which is Dele Farotimi. Now, the book is everywhere in Nigeria. People are now wondering that what is really in that book that this man do not want people to see. So people are now ordering that book in mass. In fact, on Twitter, which is XR, people are now doing giveaway of that book. People are buying that book in bulk and dashing out people in mass. Even in Nigerian stores, the book is now out of stock because of how people are buying it. People who don't know Dele Farotimi before now know him. After all these whole case, when they come out of those whole Babalola wahala, Dele Farotimi, price of a lawyer or whatever he does for a living will increase. His personality has increased, his value has increased. That's what happens when a bigger elephant gives smaller one attention. You blow up. Let me give you an example of Verydarkman. Nobody knows Verydarkman until when he started being arrested. When Tonto Dike, Yabo Joe, all those Sam Clef were arresting him back and forth from police to police. That was when press started carrying Verydarkman and he became popular and popular. Don't you notice that in Nigeria, once somebody is being intimidated, especially when that person is saying the truth, once that person is being arrested or treated unjustly, Nigerians rally around that person and that person becomes more popular. So sometimes when you feel that people are defaming you or something, you should just let it go, because if you give attention, you blow them. Now, that's not just all. Nigerians have decided to rally around Dele Farotimi by protesting on 10th of December to demand the release of Dele Farotimi. So Nigerians are going to hit the streets to demand that Dele Farotimi be released because, according to Nigerians, Afe Babalola is using his influence to intimidate Dele Farotimi. Now, the protest is not looking like a joke, as Nigerians has gone further to print t-shirts in preparation of 10th of December to hit the streets of Abuja, Lagos, and many other states in Nigeria. So I advise you watching this video, try to get that book and read. It's not expensive in Nigeria. It's less than 7,000 naira. You can get it and read and know why this Afe Babalola do not want people to read that book. Because according to those who have read that book, they said Dele Farotimi actually exposed a lot of corrupt injustice going on in the judiciary system in Nigeria.
Social media is awash with reactions over the arrest of human rights advocate Dele Farotimi, who on Tuesday morning alleged in a statement that officers attached to the Ekiti Police Command has perfected plans to abduct him from Lagos. Farotimi accused the command of deploying questionable means to lure him for arrest, despite honoring the invitation of the Zone 2 Police Headquarters in Lagos some weeks ago. The spokesperson for the Ekiti State Police Command confirmed Farotimi's arrest to journalists on Tuesday, saying that he was arrested over a petition about alleged defamation and cyberbullying, but declined to name the complainant. We know that the activists had said that police officers from the Ekiti Command were acting on a petition allegedly filed by Afe Babalola, a senior advocate of Nigeria. Let's take some reactions. In Ibehe, he had written on X saying that distance from Lagos to Ekiti State is more than 7 hours. There is no airport in Ekiti. That is the horrendous journey the police is embarking on because of alleged case of defamation of character. Dele Farotimi wrote about the rot in the Nigerian criminal justice system, and he is experiencing it again in real time. As a lawyer, it is one thing to know how deeply flawed Nigeria's justice system is. It is another thing entirely to personally suffer from that unjust system as a lawyer. I'll take Peter Obi's tweet. He wrote, "I just learned of the arrest of Dele Farotimi, a respected human rights lawyer and advocate, over an alleged allegation of defamation. This action is a gross misuse of police powers and a grave assault on the principles of democracy and justice in Nigeria. I condemn this action in totality. It represents not only an attempt to intimidate opposing voices from questioning authority. It is also a worrying signal to every Nigerian who loves and values freedom of expression and dares to demand accountability and transparency." I'll take Atedo Peterside's tweet. He wrote, "The people writing petitions against Dele Farotimi, along with their errand boys in the Nigerian police, have actually defamed themselves far more than Dele could ever have done. There is no hiding place for them. Dele Farotimi is a brilliant intellectual and a detribalized Nigerian who epitomizes the conscience of the nation. By their actions, they have confirmed that Dele is a great giant that they are afraid of." Well, Serap also wrote, breaking: "The Tinubu administration must immediately release activist Dele Farotimi, who is reportedly arrested for alleged defamation. Nigerian authorities should not be using criminal defamation laws to turn critics into criminals and undermine freedom of expression." The first tweet I had was Omoyele Sowore, who actually posted a video of the CCTV footage of the actual arrest. This has been condemned by the Nigerian Bar Association, by Afenifere. I mean, it really is a gross violation about these sort of arrests. We've seen it only recently. I believe it was this musician who was arrested for defamation. And we talked about the enabling laws. Speed Darlington and Burna Boy, Dr. Bati, the enabling laws that covers, the arrest for defamation of character.
Okay, Section 373 of the Criminal Code deals with defamation. What is defamation? When you expose another individual to ridicule, to hatred, or you lower the person's estimation, integrity in the eyes of members of the public. So to that extent, in other words, we're saying that nobody has a right to defame or libel the other person. That's what the law says. The law, however, says that there is defense. If you are speaking out of public interest, if there is justification to say that you are saying the truth, in other words, it's not automatic that when you are accused of libel, you will be punished for it. Now, there's been some argument whether it's a criminal offense or it's a civil wrong. Well, in Nigerian laws, a civil wrong can also be a criminal offense, particularly if it leads to a breach of peace. In the Aviomo case, determined by Justice Ogunwomoji, which has been quoted in the last 2 days, what he says is that in Lagos State and Edo State, defamation is not considered a criminal offense. But where it can become a criminal offense is when it leads to breach of public peace and violence. But in this specific case, which the Mazi Afe Babalola SAN, had to intervene, we were told that the policemen went to Dele Farotimi's law firm and disrupted the work of the lawyers, and that even one lawyer was rough-handled in the place. Now, the MDA president and MDA as a body has to stand up to ensure that people do not just keep going to people's law firms and harassing people all over the place. So Mazi Afe Babalola is to that extent right. And then the second thing is that we were told that Dele Farotimi was abducted. It was in a gangster-like, operation that he was picked up. So there are persons who have said he was not arrested, he was abducted. Because if they want to arrest him, he's a lawyer, they will have invited him. Even if he's a lawyer, he's not a lawyer, he will have been invited. And he said about a week ago, he was at the Zone 2 police headquarters, where he was presented with 2 different allegations, one by the chairman of United Bank for Africa, the other by Chief Afe Babalola SAN. Now going to abduct him, coming from Ekiti Police Command, to come and abduct somebody in Lagos. The question that the Nigerian police force will have to explain to us is whether that is standard police operating procedure. So it's the untidiness of it that is also part of the problem. The Lagos Police Command could have apprehended him if that needed to be done, and they could have handed over to the appropriate jurisdiction, not to go and abduct somebody from his office. And the Ekiti Police Command, they even had the courage to come and say that they came to Lagos to take him, and they were taking him to Ekiti Police Command.
7 hours journey.
It's a law enforcement. The police is a law enforcement body. They should not be seen to be lawless. Finally, whatever the matter is, I don't think Dele Farotimi will be afraid of them. He's a lawyer, he will get his own lawyers, and he will meet them in court. His rights must be respected. So that if you accuse a man of defamation does not mean that the man is a convict per se.
Yeah.
He has a line of defense is open to him. Truth, public policy, justification, and all of that. And absence of malice. Once he can prove that he's not speaking out of malice and that he's speaking in public interest, so nobody should think that because they are highly placed, they can intimidate anybody. And no lawyer is afraid of going to court. You cannot intimidate him.
Yes, I really liked Atedo Peter Side's tweet, though. I love the ending of his tweet where he said, by their actions, that's the people who arrested him, by their actions, they have confirmed that Dele is a great giant, that they are afraid.
On the 11th of November, we received, a letter was received in my former office, my law practice, the office I've left now, inviting me to Zone 2, Onikon. That's the Lagos and the Nigerian Police Command Zone 2 at Onikon. The letter signed by DCP, I believe Nwoga or something. The DCP signed the letter. And they were said to be on a dispute resolution or something along the line, and my attention was required. I received that letter on Monday the 11th, right? Yes, Monday the 11th. And I was required to come on Wednesday the 13th. I had a medical appointment that morning, a very urgent one. I shelved it. I attended Zone 2. They asked me to be there by 10 o'clock. I was there. I was there by 9:45. On getting there, I was presented with a petition written by a lawyer purporting to act for no less a person than the very best friend of our president in the Nigerian branch, Mr. Tony Elumelu, alleging that I had defamed him and cyber-stalked him. I struggled to maintain my composure because I was exceedingly provoked by the frivolity of the stupid, very stupid, self-indulgent petition. But I answered it because I was asked to write a statement. And I wrote my statement, owning each and every word that he alleged that I said in defamation of him. The IPO then took my statement and the file to see the DCP, who assigned my letter of invitation, and I was asked in. I'm giving you this background because they are all germane. The gentleman, I believe DCP Nwoga, then said I should be given bail and I should go. And whenever they needed me, they would send for me. And I felt that this was classic police harassment. So I told the gentleman, I have written a statement in response to a clear allegation. There are no ambiguities. I have not denied what he claimed that I said. But I am saying that there is absolutely no crime. There is absolutely no crime to be found in what I have said. And what did I say? Somebody asked me on Twitter. Somebody tagged me and asked the question. The person asked if I thought Mr. Tony Elumelu might, in 2027, support a person like Peter Obi to become the president of Nigeria, just as Elon Musk are done similarly in America. And I answered, how can you possibly be asking that of Tony Elumelu? Tony Elumelu is a member of the Nigerian ruining class. A veritable member, a beneficiary of the system. Why would he fight against the system? I think then I transmitted the Yoruba proverb. I said he's an impoverished rich man. That was the extent of everything I said. At best, you call that vulgar abuse. So I was actually quite irritated that a man has... I expect that someone like Tony Elumelu should be too busy to be nitpicking about what opinion anybody might have to say, whatever anybody might have to say about him. Least of all, someone like me, who am I that I am of interest or that he cares about what I have to say? I'm admittedly a madman. I told all of you severally. So I didn't think I should be of interest to Tony Elumelu. So I was irritated and I made my irritation clear. And I told the gentleman, Discipline Uga, if you have a charge for me, keep me in your cell. Today is Wednesday. At the latest, by Monday, you should be done drafting your charges. So keep me in your cell. When it is Monday, you would have been done with filing your charge. You can then take me to court. They didn't build your cell for goats. The people who are in there, they are not animals. Me, I'm not taking bail. At this point, he went up to what I now later realized was the AIG's office. Long story cut short, after some back and forth, the AIG asked us to come in because the guy was in, we were outside. I was asked, you pardon me, I don't know how to pronounce this, everything. So we were outside and we were eventually asked to come in. And it was at that point that I recognized that lawyer. The lawyer who wrote the petition had been hanging around whilst my statement was being taken, whilst I was in the DCP's office. I didn't know who he was, but now he was in the AIG's office. And the AIG asked him, do you have the authority of Mr. Elumelu to write this petition? He said, yes, he did. So the AIG said, well, you would have to tell your client to write us himself, under his own hand, to ask for Mr. Farotimi's prosecution. I was incensed that he would be asking that. But I could also recognize the delicacy of his position. Here is the very best friend of Mr. President who just went to France with him, demanding the prosecution of an irritant like me. Who was I? But the AIG used his discretion, and me, I'm a Yoruba boy. When somebody has tried to diffuse a situation, I accepted the way he diffused the situation. So, he asked us to go. He told the man who had been talking bail that Mr. Farotimi is not unknown to you. When you asked him to come, he came at your invitation. I'm sure if you need him again, you can always ask him to come. You will soon understand the importance of this background. Just bear with me. So, when we got back downstairs, DCP turned to me and said, come back next week, Thursday. I had things already scheduled for that day. I did not argue. I became aware that some men purporting to be policemen from the Ekiti State Police Command were in Lagos on a mission to abduct me. I believe the Ekiti State Police Command is under the Zone 2 at Onikon. I was at Onikon repeatedly, and nobody was aware of any form of interest in me by the Ekiti State Police Command, or any police formation for that matter. So at this point, knowing and being very familiar with the evil forest that we call Nigeria, because that is what we have built. So living in this evil forest, it became particularly clear that I must be very careful with my movement because there were kidnappers on the prowl, or perhaps hired killers, because this could definitely not have been policemen. I wasn't missing, I wasn't lost, my whereabouts was not unknown. But these persons were intent on abducting me. Knowing all of this, I was forced to avoid publicizing the funeral services of my father-in-law, which took place in Ibadan last week. I had to be moving around like a prey, being hunted by persons who are meant to be paid by my taxes for my protection. Things got to a head on Friday afternoon when one of my domestic staff was about to be abducted in this same attempt at getting me. He was told that he had a parcel, but I had already raised the threat level in my household and everywhere around me, and the young man was conscious enough to avoid being abducted. But these persons abducted a security staff of a company in which my wife has interests, and we had to strive to have this person bailed by that evening. Now, this was where it began to get interesting, because now I had to try and find out exactly what was going on. And I thank God for grace, because we must all become very clearly aware that there are times when you'll be waiting to find angels with wings, but the angels that will be sent to you might not come with wings. But there have been men and women who stepped up to the plate in the last couple of days with information, and information is power. It came to my knowledge that there is a charge that had been fraudulently preferred against me before a court in Ekiti State, at the instance of Afe Babalola. This charge had been fraudulently preferred, hidden from view, and the court had purportedly demanded my presence multiple times, and I had failed to appear before this court. And this court had then proceeded to issue a bench warrant for my arrest. This is classic Afe Babalola. I detailed his corruptive influence in my book, Nigeria and its Criminal Justice System. And what he has done is exactly what he has always done in hiding, but he has done it this time again, and the calculations were that I would have been picked up taken before this judge who must have either been compromised or misled in Ekiti. And I would have been remanded in prison custody for being somebody who was meant to face trial and who had refused to bring himself to court. I am reliably informed that social media influencers have been paid to spin these narratives after my arrest. Human rights activists have been positioned to start speaking after my arrest, including one Agaya. High offices in this country have been compromised in pursuit of my person. High offices, from the Inspector General's office, because the police have been subverted. The Attorney General of the Federation needs to examine himself because his office has been somehow linked to this as well. I do not know if the presidency is directly involved in this, and I will not make frivolous charges. But high offices have been subverted in pursuit of a criminal purpose. I have committed no crime, done nothing wrong. If I have committed any wrong for which the state requires my attendance in a court or at the police station, they know exactly where I live. I will live only once, but I will not live cowering to any man. Let us be clear. If and when I have a charge to answer before a court, you all know where I live. I'm not hiding, and I'm not running away from anybody. Let us be very clear about that. I will never run away from Nigeria. We all have to pretend that we are in a democracy, and we have to pretend that we are citizens, and we have to pretend that we are a country ruled by law. And by all means, you will pretend that we are. I have done nothing. And if I have a charge that should be preferred against me, bring it on. I'm happy to come to court to have my day. If there is a crime, there must be justice, not only for the person who is aggrieved. There must be justice for the accused. And there must also be justice for the system. This is not how to build a rule-based